The observation deck of the Celestial Harmony offered a view of 17 star systems, but Sergeant Maya Chen watched only the small Veltharian child pressing her crystalline fingers against the viewport. Lyra's species had conquered death itself 3 millennia ago, uploading their consciousness into bodies that could survive the heat of stars. They knew no pain, no hunger, no loss, and because of that they knew nothing of fear. Sergeant Chen, Lyra's translator, rendered her harmonic speech into standard English. In your combat records, you reference fear in 847 instances. My academic council cannot provide adequate definition. What is this fear? Maya set down her coffee, real coffee worth a month's salary, and studied the child. Lyra was 73 years old by human standards, but her people measured age differently. She was still learning, still curious about the strange mammals who'd joined the Galactic Coalition only 2 decades prior. Fear, Maya began slowly, is what keeps you alive when everything else wants you dead. Lyra's optical sensors brightened with interest. A survival mechanism? We evolved beyond such primitive responses. Did you? Maya asked, not unkindly. Or did you just forget what it means to be mortal? Before Lyra could respond, the ship shuddered. Emergency lights painted the corridor crimson as Admiral Thex's voice boomed through the speakers. All personnel, battle stations. Void swarm detected. ETA 4 minutes. The color drained from Maya's face. She'd fought the swarm once before on Kepler 442b. 40,000 soldiers went down to that planet. 300 came back. Lyra noticed the change immediately. Maya's pupils had dilated. Her breathing had quickened. Her hands trembled as she reached for her combat harness. Sergeant, your biological readings indicate distress. Are you malfunctioning? Maya laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. Yeah, kid. I'm terrified. That's fear. But you are preparing for combat, Lyra observed, confused. If you are experiencing system errors, you should report to Medical Bay. That's the thing you don't understand, Maya said, checking her pulse rifle's charge. Fear isn't a malfunction. It's a feature. It's my body telling me that I might die today and my brain screaming at me to run. But I'm not going to run. That's what makes us human. The ship shuddered again, harder this time. Through the viewport, Lyra could see them now. Thousands of organic vessels, each one a nightmare of teeth, tentacles, and hunger. The void swarm consumed entire worlds, leaving nothing but empty rock. Maya grabbed Lyra's arm. Stay behind me. No matter what happens, stay behind me. I am functionally immortal, Lyra protested. My consciousness can be restored from backup. I don't care about your backup. Maya's voice cracked. I care about you right here, right now. That's fear too. The fear of losing someone, even if they can come back. Because the person who comes back won't remember this moment. Won't remember that someone gave a damn about them. They ran through corridors that groaned and buckled. Other soldiers rushed past, humans mostly, with a few Kralliks and Dendari among them. The immortal species, Lyra noticed, were conspicuously absent from the combat decks. In the armory, Maya helped Lyra into an environmental suit. This'll keep you safe from decompression. Probably won't help if we get boarded, but... The hull screamed as something massive tore through it. Atmosphere rushed toward the breach and Maya slammed her hand on the emergency bulkhead control. The door sealed with a hiss, but not before a swarm drone skittered through. It was the size of a horse with too many legs and a mouth that split its body in half. Black ichor dripped from its carapace. Maya's fear spiked. Lyra could see it in her vitals displayed on the suit's HUD. The sergeant's heart rate was 160 beats per minute. Her hands shook. Adrenaline flooded her system, and yet she stepped forward, placing herself between Lyra and the drone. Get to the escape pods, Maya whispered. Now! You are experiencing critical fear response, Lyra said, frozen. You should retreat. Can't, Maya said simply. You're behind me. The drone lunged. Maya fired once, twice, 3 times. The plasma bolts burned through chitin, but the creature kept coming. It was almost on her when she dropped the rifle, pulled a plasma grenade from her belt and dove forward. The explosion threw Lyra backward. When her sensors cleared, Maya was on the ground. Her suit breached in a dozen places. The drone was dead, but so was... Still. Here, Maya coughed blood. Get going. Lyra's analytical mind raced. By all logic, Maya should have run. Her species was mortal. Death was permanent. The rational choice was self-preservation. But Maya had chosen differently. Why? Lyra asked, kneeling beside the dying soldier. Why would you sacrifice your only existence for me? I have backups. I have immortality.
You have?
You have nothing but this one life. Maya smiled, red staining her teeth. That's exactly why. Because this life, this moment, it's all I get, so I'd better make it count. Her eyes closed. Lyra sat there in the damaged corridor, holding the hand of a dead human, and felt something her species hadn't experienced in 3,000 years. Her processors registered it as a system error, a glitch in her emotional subroutines, an inexplicable sensation of profound loss and helplessness. But she knew what it really was. Fear. Fear that she'd never understand what it meant to be so fragile, so temporary, so impossibly, magnificently brave. Fear that in achieving immortality, her people had lost something precious. Fear that they'd evolved past the very thing that made life sacred. When the coalition forces finally pushed back the swarm, they found Lyra still there, cradling Maya's body. The young Veltharian had been changed by those moments, changed in a way her species claimed was impossible. At Maya's memorial service, Lyra spoke before thousands. Humans taught us what we forgot, she said, her voice carrying across the assembly. That mortality gives life meaning. That fear is not a weakness, it's a reminder of what we have to lose. That courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. She paused, her crystalline form reflecting the light of distant stars. Sergeant Maya Chen was afraid. Her body screamed at her to run. Every instinct demanded self-preservation. But she stayed.
She fought.
She died. Lyra's voice strengthened. And in dying, she showed us why even gods should remember fear. Because without it, we forget what's worth protecting. We forget what's worth dying for. She placed a small memorial crystal on Maya's coffin. A new tradition, started by a Veltharian child who learned what it meant to be human. We built ourselves to be eternal, Lyra concluded. But Maya taught me that eternity without fear is just existence. It's the possibility of ending that makes every moment precious. It's the shadow of death that teaches us how to truly live. The assembly stood in silence, and for the first time in millennia, the immortal species of the galaxy felt the echo of something ancient and profound. They felt the ghost of fear, and they understood finally why humanity had risen so quickly among the stars. Not because humans were fearless, but because they were afraid and charged forward anyway. That was the lesson of Maya Chen. That was the gift of mortality. That was why even God should remember.